I'm a White fan.
And welcome to this week's Tracking the Wolves. I'm Blake Day with NSU Athletics. Let's get to some past results. The NSU wrestling team lost to 17th ranked Augustana Thursday night, 41-3. Ian Muirhead picked up the lone win for the Wolves at 149 pounds. Now the NSU wrestling team is now 3-8 overall and 0-4 in the NSIC in dual matches. The NSU men's indoor track team recorded 9 top 10 finishes over the weekend at the Minnesota State Open to continue its very solid start to the 2014 indoor season. Hunter Koff recorded the best individual finish for the Wolves as he set a new season best in the 5,000 meters, placing second with a time of 15:47. The NSU women's indoor track team continued its strong start as well to the 2014 indoor season at the Minnesota State Open as well, setting numerous personal records, and 11 top 10 finishes. Mackenzie Hagman ran a new career best in the 60-meter dash as she finished second with a time of 7.91. The NSU women's basketball team continued its really strong season this past weekend, beating both Winona State and Upper Iowa. The Wolves beat Winona State 58-44 on Friday night as they were led by Megan Mutuler with 13 points. The team broke the NSIC season record for rebounds in the game with 62 on the night, and Rachel Krogman pulled down 17 of those rebounds in the game. On Saturday night, the Wolves women defeated Upper Iowa 80-54. Northern was without standout senior Allison Kusler due to injury that happened the night before, but the Wolves still managed to put together a very solid performance. They were led by Paige Witashik with 15 points in the game. The NSU women are now 17-3 overall and 13-3 in the NSIC. The men's basketball team had a little bit of a tough weekend this past weekend, losing to 25th ranked Winona State Friday night 64-53. Northern had a little bit of a difficult time stopping Winona's freshman Riley Bambeck, who scored the game-high 29 points. The Wolves were led by Sky Warwick with 12 points, and Carter Evans also had 9 points off the bench. And then on Saturday night, the Wolves, they lost a tough one once again to Upper Iowa, 76-70. The NSU men have now lost 4 of their last 5 games. Tyden Storson led the Wolves on the night with a career-high 20 points, and the loss drops the Wolves to 14-8 overall and 9-7 in the NSIC. And we will be right back with an interview with women's head basketball coach Kurt Fredrickson.
NCAA championships are something special.
Filled with memories we will carry with us for the rest of our lives.
We ask that you cheer hard for your institutions.
Acting responsibly and courteously towards those around you.
In the spirit of sportsmanship, enjoy the game, and let's provide our student athletes, coaches, officials, and fellow fans the respect they deserve.
Welcome to this portion of Tracking the Wolves. I'm Associate Athletic Director Zach Flackus, and my guest today is NSU women's basketball coach Kurt Fredrickson. Coach, how are we doing today?
Doing well.
Boy, another good weekend for you guys. It seems like your basketball team has really been on a roll. I think at this point we're 17-3 on the season, and it seems like you got things really rolling.
Well, our kids are playing well. Up until last weekend, we've been very, very healthy, and you know, we got a lot of length out there. We got a lot of tall kids, and we got some athletic kids, and some of our younger kids are starting to play pretty well, and so you kind of put it all together, and you know, we're very pleased with where we're at.
You know, and you comment about your health a little bit. I know Allison Kusler didn't play on Saturday. She probably missed half of the game on Friday. It was a little different, the defenses that were being played on Friday night. They were really pressuring Allison and not letting her get the ball. I suppose it was different not having her on Saturday. Did it change the way that the Upper Iowa defended you?
Not really. You know, usually in college you don't see like box and one defenses. Well, Winona played like a 1-3 zone, and then they had somebody chase Allison Kusser all over the floor saying they weren't going to let her touch the ball. And, you know, it took us a while to adjust to it. We missed some easy shots with some of our people at the free throw line. But that's the first time in a long, long time I can ever remember really going against a junk defense. And, you know, I thought we handled it pretty well, especially in the second half. Both teams had a hard time shooting on Friday night, but I thought we defended well. We held Winona to 44 points and came out on top on that one. 4 minutes into the second half, she told me that her back was hurting her, so we took her out of the game and found out later that it was a lower disc problem that she's having. And so she didn't play at all on Saturday. And we had some kids step in, Devin Brecky and Kenzie Magner, Sammy Smith stepped into that position, and I thought performed very well at that position. We got off to such a fast start the way we shot the ball that actually it was pretty easy for them to play that position. But so we don't know what Allison's status is this weekend. We'll find out maybe Wednesday or Thursday if she can practice a little bit with us. Had this problem when she was a freshman in college, and it was probably worse than what it is right now. The other girl that got injured for us is Lauren Dietrich, our backup center. She went up for a rebound, excuse me, and a girl came over her back and kind of took her arm down. And so she's kind of suffering from a little bit of a slight dislocation, so we might not have Lauren for a couple of weeks. So we went from being real healthy to have 2 of our top 10 players down in 2 nights.
Well, and here again, this might be one of the things that you as a coach, you've got a pretty deep lineup, you play some JV, you've got some kids that are getting some time. Kids able to step right in?
Well, you know, we'll have to have some people play a couple of different positions, and in our system that's probably not the easiest thing to do, but it's some things we've done in the past. Sadie Stolzberg is probably going to have to play some center, and those same 3 people are probably going to have to play the 2-guard spot if Allison can't. But obviously, if I know Allison, she's going to play as much as she can for as long as she can, even though she probably isn't 100%.
You know, and the team has been playing very well, and you went on a nice long winning streak in the middle of the season there. And then you told us a couple weeks ago at a sideliner luncheon that you were going to expect some defenses to play a little different, really pack it in, try to make you guys shoot from the outside. This last weekend, we sure saw that when you guys were playing Winona on Friday. They just packed it in and let you shoot basically some wide open, uncontested threes. Moving forward, I mean, I know you guys beat Winona and Upper Iowa fairly well. Do you think teams will continue that, or are they going to go back to more traditional defenses?
Well, these 2 teams we have this weekend, St. Cloud and Duluth, you know, Duluth plays a pretty traditional defense. They're just going to be in your face and play aggressive for 40 minutes. That's what they do. St. Cloud, they'll mix it up and do what they have to do to try to beat you. When we played at St. Cloud, they just plugged up the middle for Krogman and anybody else that was in there and basically told our 4 position and our 1 position, go ahead and shoot, because you're going to have to prove to us you can hit a shot before we come out and guard you. So that's what we're looking at this weekend, probably 2 contrasting styles a little bit defensively and how we're going to be defended. You know, it makes it a little bit difficult because you have to make some adjustments in what you're doing and what you're running and so on. But, you know, we went over and got such a poor start at St. Cloud. I know our kids are, you know, kind of want to play them again. And obviously Duluth has been Duluth over the years. We've had our battles with them, very physical games, and we play Duluth first on Friday night, and that's the one we want to get first.
Well, and you know, you guys started off the season, you end up going up to Minot and Mary. You had a tough weekend early in the year, and then you go on that nice long streak. Like you said, St. Cloud ends up getting you when you're over at St. Cloud. You're to the point of the season. I think you've got 6 games left before we get into the playoff run. What's the confidence level like of the team? I mean, going over to St. Cloud is a tough place to play, but at home, your girls feel pretty confident in their abilities?
Yeah, and I think a lot even more confident than last year. Obviously, our win-loss record's different, but you know, right now we're 9-0, I think, at home, and our players feel really good about playing here in the Barnett Center, and we've made it a point of emphasis that, you've got to protect your home court, and so far they have. Last year's team didn't, and that was the reason we struggled a little bit. But this year's team has done a great job of that. Sometimes we don't shoot like it, but they've done a great job of, when the game's over with, this is what the score is, but it's a battle week to week in this league, and every team's out to get you. And both teams we play this weekend both have winning records, and so it's just a battle from week to week, and you better be ready to play.
Well, and coming down the stretch here, you guys have got Mary and Minot to end the year. I know you go down to Wayne and Augie then following weekend, but so 3 out of your last 6 games are actually teams that you've lost to, but there's a little bit of that seeding, revenge factor. You're getting them at home. It's just a good time of year to be excited about basketball. Are the players ready to go? I mean, are they looking forward to the playoffs, or are they looking forward to Friday night?
Well, they're looking forward to winning as many games as we can, because we've talked about, you can get to where you want to be at the end of the year, not just by winning a conference tournament, which is hard to do when there's 16 teams, but you can get to where you want to be by having a great season and having a good record and be ranked in that regional rankings that comes out in I think 2 weeks. So we're looking at this, that every game's a state tournament game, and we're going after every one of these one game at a time to try to win as many games as we can and impress whoever we have to impress with our record.
Not to look at the big picture too much, but you're losing 2 seniors. I know the recruiting trail you've been on hard all year long. What's the recruiting like out there right now? Is it a little different when you're replacing 1 starter and then kind of a role player? So do you get to be real particular in your recruiting, or are you just looking for the best athlete out there right now?
Well, there's always spots in your team that you'd like to fill with a little bit more depth. We've got a very good post player in Miranda Ristow coming in next year with our freshman class, and that will give us Rachel, who's a senior, Lauren, who's a junior, Jess Anderson, who's a sophomore, and Ristow, who's a freshman, as far as post players. So we're pretty solid at that position. Our 4 position, we could use another player or 2. Our 3 position, we can use another player or 2. We have 2 point guards coming in this year in our freshman class, so that's probably solidified for a year or so, but maybe another 2 guards. So you always kind of look at your team, especially when the season's over, and see what you need, maybe not necessarily for the next year, but the year after that, when that's who you're going to be recruiting for.
Well, and the basketball team right now is just a lot of fun to watch. Your team plays really hard defense. You get after it, and when you're shooting the ball, Will, I don't think it really matters who you're playing. You're going to beat them because it's just you've got such a good inside-out combination. It's just really fun to watch.
Well, our kids, really have bought into our defense. We don't get out in your face and yell and scream and deny everything, but our kids play a really good team defensive concept. And when somebody gets beat, somebody else is there to take a charge. And one of the things we've kind of used to motivate our kids to take charges is that every charge they take gets them out of one night of conditioning after practice. So we got kids jumping in the way, everybody trying to get out of running. And Krogman leads the pack. She's the one that is always at the bottom. But that's what you want. You want your center stepping in, protecting the basket. And Megan Mutzler, we've talked a little bit about her, and we've given her a lot of credit for shutting down the other team's best offensive players, and she has. She's 6'1", she's an athlete, she can jump, she's fast. I wouldn't want her to guard me, I'll tell you that, but she's been shutting down the other team's best perimeter players. I don't care if they're a point guard or a 3, and probably the person that doesn't get as much credit as she should is Sadie Stoltzberry. Sadie Stoltzberry has really made a commitment to improve her defense this year, and she's doing a very, very good job of guarding the other team's best 4 and 5 players, and that's really helped.
Well, and it seems like she's really understanding that help defense concept too, because if someone does get beat from the outside, it seems like you've got, whether it's Rachel or Sadie or Megan, somebody that stepped down, and you got these 6'2" forwards and swingmen, as we used to call them. But boy, that's tough defense when someone does get by one of your guards out front and they're running into a 6'2", 6'3" girl with long arms underneath.
Yeah, there's a lot of balls getting swatted, and if it isn't Krogman, it's Stoltzberry. If it isn't her, it's Mutzler. You've got to get by really 3 of them, 6'1", 6'2", to get to the basket, and that's not easy for teams to do, and that's why we're holding teams down point-wise.
Coach, I'm going to let you go with that, but good luck this weekend. We've got University of Minnesota Duluth on Friday night at 6 o'clock, and then we've got St. Cloud State on Saturday at 5.
Yeah, thank you very much, and we hope we get a lot of people out to watch us play.
Absolutely, and we've had great crowds lately. I know this last weekend on Saturday, I think there was 5,000 people there, so great crowds. Hope to see you out at Wolves basketball this weekend. This has been Zach Flackus and NSU head women's coach Kurt Fredrickson for Tracking the Wolves.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
With commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why. These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
And welcome back to Tracking the Wolves. Thanks to Coach Fred for joining us today. I'm Blake Day with NSU Athletics. Today joining us we have from the women's basketball team, we have Katrina Kierstead and women's assistant coach Elena Benson. So thank you to both of you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I think first of all we'll start off with Katrina here. Just kind of tell us about your hometown, where you're from obviously, your major, when you plan to graduate. Obviously you're a senior, so we've got that out of the way here. Career aspirations, if you know that at this point. And then we'll kind of tie it off with, why did you choose Northern?
Okay. I guess I'm from Wall, South Dakota. I live outside of in a farm or whatever. Oh gosh. I'm a biology major. I plan to graduate in May. Right now I'm applying for graduate school for nutrition and exercise physiology, hoping to become a dietitian and a trainer. I chose Northern mostly because of the small town aspect and the people. I met Emily Beckett and Michaela Brondo on my visit, and I just fell in love with how they love the program and everything here. And I guess I'm a small town girl, and I like the feel of this place, so that's why I chose it.
And Elena, tell us, a little bit about yourself as well. Where you're from, where you went to school at as well. Obviously, talk about the sports you played, prior experience to coming to Northern, that kind of thing.
I'm from Clinton, Minnesota, and I graduated from the University of Minnesota Morris with a sports management degree and played basketball, softball, and 1 year of tennis.
There you go.
Oh yeah, that was great. They needed an extra person on the team, so why not? I was a senior and I just decided I wasn't ready to give up sports yet. So then after I graduated from Morris, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life, so I figured that I should probably go to grad school. And the GA position here at Northern for softball was still open. So I applied for that and took the job. And that's how I initially got out here to Northern. And then during grad school, I applied for the head coaching job at PC. And got that when I was in grad school. And I was there for 4 years. And then this position came open to coach under Coach Fred, and applied for that, got it, and that's how I got back over to Northern.
Very nice. Let's kind of piggyback off that a little bit here with Elena, and why Northern for this job? What kind of lured you to apply for the position from PC to come back over here, and talk about the adjustment a little bit of going from being a head coach at presentation to being an assistant here.
Well, it was appealing to me because I was looking to move up in the coaching world. I had been at PC for 4 years as a head coach, and so I was ready for that next level. And Coach Fred called me up and told me about the open position, and it like I said, it was very appealing. I wanted to move up. I wanted to coach under him because I knew I could learn a lot about the game, and just being at the next level. It's where I want to be someday, Right. And what else?
Just really the adjustment from being from head coach to assistant.
It's been very different. I was in control of my team for 4 years, from practices to travel, game preparation, everything, and pretty much did everything just me. There wasn't too much help from any assistants. We had part-time assistants, so you didn't get too much out of them. So I was used to doing everything. So coming over here and being the assistant, I don't make all the decisions now, which I'm okay with. Taking a step up, I didn't want all of that responsibility right away.
Right.
So it has been a little different, but Coach Fred, he's been, very helpful. And if I have something to say, he'll listen. And, sometimes if I see something and, I call out a play to him, he'll use it. So, we work well together, and, he's been very, very helpful through this entire process.
Very nice. Let's bounce back to Katrina here. We usually ask everybody, what's your favorite part about Aberdeen, about Northern? Whether it's campus-wise, maybe it's just community-wise. What's, in your 4 years here, what's kind of your favorite part about it?
Like I said earlier, it's the small town feel and the community. I guess all 4 years I've been here, I've been blessed to be on a team where all the girls are like family to me, and I guess I like coming to practice every day and knowing that I get to be with them and make them work harder and motivate them, and I guess that kind of just keeps me here is mostly the people. Aberdeen just has the best people that I've honestly been around, so very supportive.
Yeah. Well, this is the one that usually everybody isn't a fan of, but I think our viewers like to know. We always ask, what's kind of a random fact, a fun fact about yourself that maybe your teammates do know, but I mean, really outside of that, nobody really knows about you?
Well, actually, within the team, I am the oldest on the team. I'm going to be 23 this summer, but they call me Gam Gam. I am like the person that kind of they come to, and I just take care of them. I'm like their mother hen, I guess. So my nickname on the team is Gam Gam. So
okay.
I guess there's my fun fact.
That is a fun fact indeed. So let's kind of switch gears a little bit, talk about the season. You guys are, having a very solid season up to this point, 17-3, 13-3 in the conference, up top in the North Division. As of last week, ranked 23rd in the polls. Let's just kind of talk about the season up to this point. I guess this weekend, as well, this past weekend, coming off 2 convincing victories over Winona and Upper Iowa. Let's just kind of talk about the season in general, starting off with some non-conference games out in the hills with Black Hills State and School of Mines, and then Central Methodist and Mayville State. Kind of talk about, we'll start with Katrina here. What have you seen from the team from early on to now that we've seen some improvement in throughout the course of the year?
I see the confidence kind of in the girls improving. They're coming into their roles of who they are on the court, and they're understanding what they need to do every time they step on. Like, we know who our scorers are, we know who to go to on plays, and we know who, like that last second shot, we know who to go to. And I guess from the beginning of the season, we had these goals coming in to, win all of our home games and all this stuff, and now it's actually like it's happening, and we just have to keep going with the goals. And I guess now it's just we have to finish it, and I believe that these girls have a lot still to improve on shooting wise, but I think we'll be good.
All right. And Elena, kind of piggybacking on that, kind of talk about what you've seen throughout the season. Obviously that's a very good point of the confidence growing in that kind of thing, and talk about what you've seen improvement-wise throughout the year, and then also we'll get the coach's perspective, of what do we need to still improve upon, obviously, to take that next step.
Kat, she really hit it. The girls have just been really working hard together. We've really started to mesh, and it's been a lot of fun watching them. And all of the girls on the team are willing to put in extra work outside of practice to get better, and I believe that is why we have had as much success as we've already had. Going from being out in the hills until how we're playing now, we've just really grown as a team, and that just all goes with meshing together. So shooting is definitely one thing to improve on, especially the three-point shooting. We are at the bottom in the conference in three-point shooting, something that we really don't like to point out, but it is a fact. Right. So that's something that we definitely do need to prove on. But we have so many scorers inside that it hasn't affected us that bad yet.
Yeah. Right. And I guess let's talk about. Obviously everybody has a role on the team. Let's talk about two of the. We got Allie as a senior and Rachel as a junior that really, I mean, those two have put a lot of the scoring load, and Rachel rebounding-wise as well. Kind of talk about what, you know, two of the three captains, correct? Yep. You being the third captain as well. Yep. Talk about what they've done this year of really stepping up their play. As you know, you guys are the upperclassmen of, you know, we'll go to you here, Katrina, of what you've seen really out of your two fellow captains.
Out of both of them, I've seen a lot of growth in becoming the leaders out on the court. Last year, we were a young team, and it was hard to take all that pressure at first. And this year, I see a more calmness of them. Like, they have confidence in the rest of the people around them. And Koos, she's always ready to go compete. She's excited for every game. She's just a competitor ever since we got here as freshmen. And watching her grow since freshman year to now, I just see that she loves the game so much, and she just goes out there with all this enthusiasm and energy, and people feed off of it. And she's just wanting to score. You know, she wants us to win, and we can always have the confidence with her to shoot and make that last-second shot. And you know, she is our biggest scorer and threat, and she likes the load. She loves the pressure, so she handles it really well. Rachel, she handles the inside so well for an undersized post. Like, if you look at the other posts, they're 50 pounds more than her most of the time, and she's fighting for rebounds all the time, and she's just always going 100%, and it's just fun watching them both out there and the other girls and younger girls feeding off of them. And I guess I'm just excited for them to keep going with this season and even go out stronger with the pressure they have on them. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's look forward to this weekend. We've got Duluth coming in on Friday and St. Cloud State coming in on Saturday. With St. Cloud avenging a loss there, one of the 3 losses there. So what kind of, Elena, talk a little bit about what are we looking forward to this weekend from those two? What do we need to do differently, with St. Cloud? I mean, obviously it was a tight one, I think a 3-point loss on the road. So, I mean, just talk about what we're expecting this weekend.
Well, you know, we definitely can't overlook Duluth on Friday night. Right. You know, we went up to their place, and we ended up winning by about 15. It was a good game for us, you know, coming off of a loss at St. Cloud the night before. So we really bounced back, which was nice to see. So, you know, it'll be a tough game on Friday, but you know, hopefully we stay calm, we play our game, and then we can look at St. Cloud on Saturday. And the main thing with St. Cloud is they were so physical, and we have to go back at them. You know, we have to remember that we only lost by 3. And there is a lot of potential for us to beat them on Saturday if we can stay calm and be physical with them.
All right. Well, thank you to both of you, obviously, for joining us today. And we thank, once again, Coach Fred for joining us today as well. And we'll be right back with upcoming events.
NCAA championships are something special.
Filled with memories we will carry with us for the rest of our lives.
We ask that you cheer hard for your institutions.
Acting responsibly and courteously towards those around you.
In the spirit of sportsmanship, enjoy the game, and let's provide our student athletes, coaches, officials, and fellow fans the respect they deserve.
And welcome back to Tracking the Wolves. This week's Qdoba Athletes of the Week are Paige Witashik from women's basketball and Till Olson from the men's track and field team, as they've been named the Qdoba Scholar Athletes of the Week for their academic and athletic efforts over the past week. Witashik averaged 12.5 points for the Wolves in their 2 victories over the weekend over Winona State and Upper Iowa. Witashik, the first and second leading scorers in the games, shot 50% from the floor over the weekend. Till Olson was a member of the second-place Wolves distance medley team that finished with a time of 10:53.67 at the Minnesota State Open. Olson also participated in the 4x4 relay and 50-meter hurdles at the event this past weekend. And now let's get to some upcoming events. The Wolves return to action this week for the wrestling team as they step out of conference to face Dickinson State Thursday at 7 p.m. in Walks Arena. The Wolves will then travel to face Southwest Minnesota State in Marshall, Minnesota on Saturday at 7 p.m. The NSU swim team, they head to their conference meet this week as they will head to Rochester as the NSIC Championships will run Thursday through Sunday, February 6th through 9th, with prelims and final events each day. Both the NSU men's and women's basketball teams will be back home in Wachs Arena this weekend as they take on Minnesota Duluth on Friday night and St. Cloud State on Saturday night. Game times are set for 6 and 8 on Friday and 5 and 7 on Saturday. The NSU indoor track team will head to Fargo Friday and Saturday for 2 days of competition hosted by North Dakota State. That is it for upcoming events. We thank women's head basketball coach Kurt Fredrickson for joining us today, as well as assistant coach Elena Benson and Katrina Kierstead from the women's basketball team. And we thank you for joining us, and go Wolves!